Oh, sneak peek. Sneaky peek! Hello, hello! Thank you, Cupcake, for doing your job. You're doing wonderfully. You're getting a little unsticky, but it's a hard gig being this Cupcake sticker. Thank you, Cupcake sticker. Thank you, camera, for being under the Cupcake sticker. My name is Kelsie Huff. I've been doing some organizing today. This is my organizational outfit around the apartment, but I had a topic that went bing. I get asked this a lot with students, but also have interactions with folks after comedy shows, and I wanted to share my thoughts on this with you, and that was the idea of women comics swearing on stage and how sometimes that really freaks people out. In 2017, but I'm not trying to be judgy here. I'm just trying to get like a conversation going and maybe just chat about it a little bit. So quick, in case you're new, in case you just clicked, you're like, who's this person? Ka-clow. My name is Kelsie Huff. I'm doing this daily vlog. I don't really know what I'm doing. It's the first time I've done it, but I'm having a heck of a time. I'm a stand-up here in Chicago. I also do other comic things. I do voiceover stuff, blah, blah, blah. I also teach. I do private coaching with stand-up. I do storytelling. I do teach classes. I also teach all-female stand-up classes because my mission is to increase the number of women in comedy. Wah, 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 wah. Now you know the backstory. So, it doesn't happen as much as it used to, but when I first started, a lot of people would come up to me after comedy shows, very complimentary, but they would always have to point out that I swore. And it was usually other ladies who would be like, "You do swear." Oh, that delightful Midwestern, "Oh, you do like those words." And I love the audience for coming, and thanks for talking to me after the show. All this stuff is positive, but I think I want to kind of explain a perspective from a female stand-up, and sometimes when female students grapple with the swearing on stage business, and I kind of want to talk about it from the performer's point of view. So here's the deal. For booking, it's different from like how you feel on stage. So there are definitely shows in Chicago, there are rooms that you should respect, that are clean rooms, and of course you're not going to do your dirty material or say swear words and do all that stuff, because that is not what is expected of you in that room. And if you want to get hired back, respect the room, right? So I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about using language to be like, "I'll do what I want, I don't even care." That's not, in my opinion anyway, professional. If you're a blue comic and that's your path, you just probably know that you won't work the clean rooms, the corporate rooms during the daytime or whatever. And the comics who are like, they're cool with that. But there are comics who kind of want to work both worlds, who want to be able to do clean material, do TV material, and then also work on stage. Now, full disclosure, like I'm from Chicago. I'm not somebody who's like on Conan and do a lot of TV stuff. So I'm not talking about how to do that because that is not in my wheelhouse. I'm talking about, as a performer, why women feel great swearing on stage and how empowering it can be. I know it's 2017, right? But for women, a lot of times, especially students, people who are new to comedy, they haven't found that voice. They haven't found like where they can take up space, and sometimes it's great to just frickin' let it out. I don't swear a lot on YouTube because I don't know who's watching. It could be like wee little people. It could be old ass people. Better way to say that. So I'm not swearing a lot here on YouTube, but on the stage I do, and I think it is very empowering for women who like are taking up space and are using their voice. The other thing that swearing does is elevate emotion, and a lot of times we have been told to be very likable, very people-pleasing, very polite, and as ladies in stand-up, you need to have a strong opinion about something. And when you're starting out, sometimes you force yourself to get that strong opinion when you're using swear words. So it makes you like, oh yeah, wow, during this rant, during this riff, I am pretty angry. Look at all these words that are coming out. So swearing can be used as a tool to connect to your emotions. So maybe you never use those words on stage, but why say like, I'm not gonna swear, when it can actually bring something out in you? Cool. The other thing about swearing, I just love it so much. I don't know why. I mean, I was a kid. I was a wee little kid and I would watch Eddie Murphy Delirious like on repeat, on repeat, on repeat. I was from a family who swore a lot. So it was very confusing to me. Like, I knew it was bad, but but it's kind of part of your vernacular. And that's kind of my other thing. Like, I know a lot of women students, people who are new to comedy, struggle with identity as well as comedy, because we're very often, we're trained to look at ourselves through the other all the time. This is not something I'm making up. This is academic studies. And sometimes you're torn with identity. What will society think of me as this, instead of just authentically being you? And if you're somebody who authentically swears in your life, of course you're going to do it on stage. If you don't feel comfortable in your life doing it, don't feel like you have to do it on stage either. Like, I understand, like, well, it's a cheap laugh. It's only a cheap laugh if you're forcing it. It's not a cheap laugh if it's just who you are. It's just who you are. And the other thing is, like, stop thinking about what the audience is going to think about you. I know it's so easy to say, but I say this in my on these videos on this channel all the time, is when you're creating something as an artist, as a comedian, you have to find the thing you want to say. The audience will eventually come to you. So don't tweak who you are because you're like, well, this isn't ladylike enough, right? The other thing is, like, once you start getting more comfortable in identity and you're getting more comfortable in language, you're going to start noticing that contrasts in comedy, those contrasts are so important. So you can start playing with it. You know, you can start actually using it as a tool that will enhance your comedy. So, I mean, somebody like Sarah Silverman, for example, is somebody who does this very well. She's very small, she's very cute, she's very petite, she's very, like, colorful, playful, and then she'll, because of the way she knows what she looks, she knows what the audience perceives, she can get away with saying the most terrible thing. Now, maybe you don't like Sarah Silverman's comedy. Cool. That doesn't mean that you can't use those contrasts in a way to help you. Blah, blah, blah. The other final thing I want to say about language is, like, it's always evolving. Language is always evolving, as do we. And I think there is this misnomer that still happens, which is a real bummer, that, like, if you swear you're this amount, you're this kind of person. Like, you're uneducated, or, like, you're in my case, you're white trash, you know, and I just don't think that happens to be the case, especially if you're female. It's actually can be quite empowering. So I don't know if anybody in the audience has ever thought about that before. I know the new comics do. I know female comics occasionally do, because we are approached by audience members who have an opinion about it. My family doesn't love it. You know, I mean, I know my mom has come up to me. She's one of the people after the show is like, that was really great, but did you have to swear so much? And the answer is, you know, yeah. I sure did. And we also did we did a web series where we had a whole episode called The Offender, where this character was that comic, sort of that shock jock comic, for a point. And my Aunt Rita, who's watching, you know, she had a hard time watching it. And I guess the question is, I'm sure there are definitely reasons why that people take a strong stance. But sometimes with art and creation, language is a part of it. And if you can see beyond the language to see if there's just using with purpose or a greater meaning, cool. Sometimes it's not, but sometimes it is. So those are my thoughts. I'm pro-swearing. Swear it up, internet. Back to organizing my apartment. Bye. Oh, cupcake sticker. Stay.